Hi, what's everybody? We're back in the old shed again, back on the old bandit, and today's task is wiring. A lot of people find this quite daunting, and basically what I've got to do is I've got to shorten down a loom. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far. I didn't bore you with stripping all the cable and plastic and stuff off the loom. All you've got to do is be really, really careful and don't nick any wires. So just gently take it off. It took me probably about an hour to strip all the plastic coating and all the self-amalgamating tape and stuff off. So a little bit boring, but it's done now. It's remnants all over the floor at the moment. I need to have a bit of a sweep up. But yeah, I shall show you what we're getting up to. So see what happens, shall we?
Alright guys, right, I just thought I'd bring you over, show you what I've got up to. So as you can see, if I stand back a little bit, that's an absolute, it's like spaghetti junction. There's just so many wires. So the task is to shorten all that down into that space there. So this is going to take quite a while. I'm probably looking at 5-6 hours, maybe a little bit longer, probably a couple of days to be perfectly honest, to get that lot shortened down. So what we're going to do is we're going to lose the clocks. These are going. So if anybody needs a set of bandit clocks, they're Mark II bandit clocks. So if anybody needs any, let me know. I've got some other bandit stuff as well that's for sale, fairings and bits and pieces. So if anybody needs anything, excuse me, let me know. Also, these will be up for sale as well. The reservoir and obviously the clutch lever, because these are being changed. So yeah, basically, as you can see, I've got to shorten that lot down. Now what we are going to do, we're going to leave the plugs on this end. I'm going to lose the clocks. Going to lose the clocks and all the wiring for the clocks. They're going to stay plugged in so we can disconnect them if we need to. And I'm also going to leave the plugs on this end that we need, and everything else is plugged. Everything else that we need is plugged in. Anything that's not is gone. Like clutch switch, that'll all be taken out and soldered up. Same with side stand switch. That's all going. So we don't have any of that. And that's it really. It's going to be quite a long task. So I'm not going to go through everything with you, but what I will do is I'm going to start, and then probably about halfway through I'll show you what I'm doing and what I've taken out, what I've cut out, what I've re-added if I need to. I'm going to run all cables. I've got all the brake light cable and everything to run up to the back. All the headlight cables have got to be rewired. It was an absolute mess at the front there. So basically it's just a case of slimming, going from that mess into a nice little loom just there, and that's all it's going to have. That'll be it. So I'm not going to bore you any longer, so I'm just going to crack on with it and see what happens. But hopefully in the next couple of hours. Right, as far as I've got so far, I've got side light and indicators in there. The black and white, that's the earth. I've got new solenoid all soldered up in. So I've just got to make a bracket for that to sit on, so that was going to sit somewhere there. And then I am literally just going through this now and shortening down all the cables. As you can see, it is getting thinner and it's starting to move its way back a bit. I'm getting into it slowly. I'm just about to do this one. This is brake light switch, I think. If I remember rightly, I've just cut it off. Where is it? Underneath that block somewhere. So yeah, that's something to do with brake light switch. So I'm going to leave that piece on the end of there, that long piece, because I'm going to need to feed that back down to the rear brake light. Keep that under there. All I'm going to do is get a big piece of heat shrink. Too big? That might be too big actually. In fact, I might just need 2 pieces. We'll use 2 pieces. Because we can slide a small one in like that. You see? And that one. Can do. Bring a bigger piece in. Throw in the top when we finish. And all I'm going to do is just fan that open. And just gently twist them together. Grab the old soldering iron and some solder. And just tin it together. As you warm it up, float the solder around. So you end up with a, I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up, you end up with a nice join. You find your small piece of heat shrink that seems to have disappeared, which we'll get in just a second. Slide that up. Slide that up. Just gives it that little bit of extra protection. And all you do is just gently heat it up with a lighter. And it will shrink back into place. Just like so. Okay. Try not to set yourself on fire while you're doing it. That's usually a good tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it in this when I've finished. It's a loom tape, but it's a material, sticky material. It's really cool stuff. It's a little bit stretchy, so you just put, what you do is when you wrap a loom, is you do 50%, so you'll wrap it and then come 50% back over on itself. That's it really. Simple. So that's that one done, that's that cable done. That's that one done, so they're all done. So I can bring that down beside there. So you can see how short the loom's going to be when I'm finished. The loom is literally just going to sit in there. That's how short it's going to be from this tangled mess. I mean, that's a lot of wiring. So that one needs to stay where it is for a minute. And the easiest way to do this is to, that's what earth cables, so I need to move them over, sort them out afterwards. Basically pick a colour, so we'll pick that light blue one. And all we're going to do is trace it, follow it back down through the loom. Wherever it goes, and you'll see, if you'll be able to see this, it goes down back into the fuse box. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'll cut it in half. Okay, so that's gone. Pull that back through. Move the rest of the loom out of the way. Pull that back through. Try and keep my cables in reasonably the right place. So again, just feed that underneath. A little bit of slack on it. Pull that one out. And probably just give it, roughly lay it around where it's going to sit as best I can. So I don't know if I've got plenty on it. Take 2 cables, pair of cutters, cut them off. And again, it's just a case of repeatedly going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. It is time consuming. This does take a long time. I said I've been at this for probably an hour, hour and a half now, if not longer. And I've only got this far. Because also we're taking the clocks out, so I'm going to trace the wiring back through and find out where it's connected to the clocks. And then that, because what happens is when they build a loom, they'll build a loom on a board, and they'll build it from one end to the other. And so you'll have all the plugs and everything in, and then they'll build a loom, and they'll put one cable from there to there. And then when they come down and they join into a box, they'll go back out and it'll come back out somewhere else, and it's all linked together, it's all joined. So an earth cable, this black and white one here, don't know if you can see that very well, this black and white one here, that's joined to one big block, and there's probably about 10 cables in there. They're all joined here. There's the earth there, look, there's another earth. It's another earth join. So they'll do one run and then they'll split it and they'll put another one in and they'll take it off somewhere else. So it does get a little bit monotonous when you're doing it. But the only thing you can do is just keep plodding through it. Keep going forward, really. It's not as difficult as people make it out to be. It can be daunting when you're doing it. It really can. Especially if you've never done it before. I mean, this isn't going to be too bad. This is just a shortening. shortening of the loom. This is not remaking the loom as such, but it still can be daunting, especially if you've never ever done it before. So like I said, it's just a case of literally taking time, picking a cable, for instance, pick that cable, just pull on it hard, pull on it, find where it goes, trace it through, so that goes round to that end there. Where does that end go? This thing goes disappearing. Where is it? There you go, that end goes in there. Yeah, it's another cable, so we'll find the other end of that again. Lay it round, tuck it under, hopefully the right length. Find the one I've just cut off, wherever it's gone. Where's it gone? I think this is indicators and brake lights. It's just because I've already changed the relay for an LED one, so we don't need to worry about that. That's already been done. So again, like I said, this is just repetitive, and it's going to be boring. So I'm not going to bore you too much longer with it, because you'll be like me, you'll be half asleep doing it, which is not the way you want to do it, but unfortunately, it worked out. So it's probably going to take me a couple of days. I'm not going to rush this. I'm just going to get on with it and do it and get it soldered together and get most of it done. And then what I'll do is when I've done all this, I'll show you the finished product of what it looks like, which will be a good 50% shorter, if not more. There's a joint gone. So what I should do is I should take this off when I come to do it. I should pull all the loom off, I'll unplug it all, and I'll wrap it all up, and then I shall lay it back in, and I shall zip tie it into a couple of places, just so it sits in nice and tidy out the way. And that's it really. It's just backwards and forwards. So there we go. We'll do this one. He says. The other thing with this is as well is we're not taking all the switchgear out. Now, if I was taking all the switchgear out, it gets a little bit more complicated. The same as what I did with my rat bike. Is I have no switchgear. I took it all out, which means I had to remake all my switches, or rewire all my switches, which is quite difficult because you then have to take all the switchgear apart and you have to see where cables go to, where they join to, what's going to what, where's, you know, for instance, a kill switch won't work when it's up because it hasn't got two cables connected. Well, that's fine. So I had to wire a kill switch in. You don't actually need a kill switch for an MOT, but I decided to wire one anyway just for a safety thing. And the starter button's got three cables going to it. One of them goes to the kill switch. So then you then looping yourself back in and backwards and forwards and up and down and left and right, and it can be a real pain. And I think it puts a lot of people off. I don't blame them, to be honest. When I first started doing this, I was just like, oh no, what have I got myself into? But I'd started and I was determined to get through it. Again, it's one of them things where you just kind of have to start it and carry on. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this loom now. I mean, most of this will loop back on itself and it'll be perfectly fine. It's exactly the same way to do it from the manufacturer, so if it's slightly too long in one place, I can just loop it back, just like that, and then that'll be fine. Once that's all taped up and that, it'll be perfectly safe. So that's it. That's it really, for now.
So there you go, that's me started on the, what's it called, on the our wiring loom, showing you a little bit of it. As you can see, as I said, it does take time, it takes a long time to do. It's just repetitive, it's going backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. I mean, if you look at the length of the cables I'm pulling off already, that's a good over a metre. So you can see how much cable's in there. So yeah, probably going to be another day on this, at least a day, and then like I said, I'll put another video up of when it's all done and it's all tidied up and all tucked up and that, and it'll look proper nice. It'll look real nice under there then. It'll just look like a custom made loom, which in a sense it is. It's just a shortened down standard loom. I think, if I remember rightly, there's about 20 miles of cable in here. Or is that Mercedes? Might be Mercedes, it might be less than that, it's probably about 10 miles, but it's a lot of cabling. And believe it or not, that cabling adds a lot of weight to your bike. Can you imagine all that cable, it's all copper and stuff on the inside, so shortening it down, you're losing weight. But anyway, there you go. That's it for today. So the next one will be, hopefully, will be all this wiring loom finished and done and out of the way and on to the next bit. And the next one, after I've done that bit, will be making the airbox. We're going to make a custom airbox for this. Because it's running on open filters, and these carburetors do not like open filters whatsoever. For some reason, Bandit 600s are a pain to tune. I've done it once before, and we got it running, but it's not quite right. It's something to do with the tuning in the mid-range. I can't get it quite right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an airbox, and then we're going to drill the back of the airbox, and then that will slow down the increase of air. And hopefully that should solve the running issues. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to take it and get it dynoed and go for a go that way. There's any other way of doing it, unfortunately. So, fingers crossed, the airbox sorts it. Anyway, right, take it easy. I'll see you in the next video.